Uh-huh. Ain't downloading. Or, I ain't paying. Alright, let's do it. We're going live, son. Going live. Put some background on while we're just getting set up. Oops, got some audio on that. Don't want to get copyrighted. All right, how's it going? Oh, hold on. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. What does that mean now? Okay, hang on here, folks. Having some technical difficulties. What the fuck is it not seeing? Oop. Oop. Where is that? Okay, I think we're good. We're having some technical difficulties there. I don't know. It was saying that it wasn't getting enough video or something, which doesn't make any sense. Don't understand that. Anyway, Nick Daniels. We're just setting things up here, folks. We're gonna just be probably about 2 minutes. Oh, it's still coming back out. It says my stream status is poor. So, right. Yeah, network cable's in pretty good. I don't understand. What the fuck? Mr. Router, how you doing? Yeah, secured in there. Boys, I don't know what's going on. It's not happy. I can see myself, I can see myself talking, like it looks like it's going, but it's buffered a couple times. I don't know what's going on here. Why we're having some problems. Yeah, uptime's not much either. I don't know. Just as my stream status is poor. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Huh. Video capture. Yeah, okay. OBS looks good. OBS is clean. No problems there. Okay, I think we're good. We're back up to excellent connection. I'm going to keep an eye on it. That's probably the best we can really do at the moment. I don't know why it's doing that. So bear with me here for just a moment. We're gonna still just be 1 minute here on the stream. Fuck off. I'm just checking something out real quick, and I think we're gonna be good. Anyway, yeah. So today's live stream, though, as you guys probably know, Mr. Drummer, thanks for coming in, man. 1 second here. I gotta mute what I'm listening to. I just have something on in the background. I'm just trying to make sure. Okay, that'll work. Yeah, so anyway, here we go. Okay, I think we got the issues resolved, but I really could be wrong, man. I like that I played that. I played that video, by the way, in the background. It just completely disappeared. Anyway, so yeah, man. So welcome to the stream. If you're new, you're watching live, and if you're watching here on YouTube after the fact, I also appreciate that as well. So if you're not completely familiar with what's going on, we're going to be reading some dating fails usually on Reddit or like I don't know, wherever the heck you can find them. So we'll just be reading through what people have for like horror stories. Usually those are funny enough to me that I enjoy them. I think they're good entertainment, and I like to give my insight on them. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. I'm just checking my OkCupid. It's funny, man. I get some matches from I get matches all over the place. I think I'm like 400 like matches right now. It's absolutely insane. So I've just kind of highlighted a couple here that I thought were pretty good. Yeah, that were pretty decent. So we're just gonna put those up here in a moment. So there's this one we have in r/ask men, and we'll scroll around. We always look for a little while here, and we find what we're looking for. So don't you worry about that. Yeah, and we'll do that one there. Okay, so we'll do that one there. Okay, cool. Perfect. So give me one moment there, folks. We're just going to make the screen a little bigger there for you so you can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at here. There we go. We're going to do something like this. Yeah, look at that. We can make the face cam a lot bigger too. There we go. I think it should be, right? Like I'm you know, I'm the thing you want to look at, right? Well, that's funny. Okay, yeah, there we go. That looks all right. Always takes me a second to like rearrange it the way I want it to be, but I think that that actually looks pretty good. So yeah, Mr. Drummer Live, thanks for coming in, man. Hopefully we get some people, we get some peeps over the amount of time we're here. I think I'm actually going to swap monitors here real quick for what OBS is doing. So just before we get into it, let me do that, and we will be off to a good start. Okay. Inception. Okay, there we go. And we need this one here. Got some Guild Wars down there in the bottom. You guys want to watch me play Guild Wars sometime? Let me know. Okay, yeah, we're just swapping the monitors there. Okay, that looks good because I can read this way. It's a little easier. Okay, here we go. So we're just gonna read a couple stories here. We're gonna give some insight on what we think. Probably gonna be about an hour stream, and then we'll be good to go. So let's just read this from Gundolf the Grey as we start our adventures here. So this one from 2 years ago. So this normally we read when I read these stories, they're like 12 years old. So it's kind of good to get something that's actually like slightly more recent. But here we go. So we talked for a few days on Tinder before deciding to go for a coffee, which she then changed to having a few drinks at her house in the afternoon. I mean, there's already like problems with this story, and it's only like literally like 8 sentences. It's like I just don't see like drinks in the afternoon at someone's place to be a good idea. Like I've said it countless times, like you never meet someone at their place. So like in the afternoon, it's just a little weird. Like late afternoon, like you know, like we're talking like like 4:30. That I could do. Firstly, she looked nothing like her pictures. Turns out most of the photos she used were from when she was 18, and we were both 26. And again, that's another thing I'll harp on all the time, man. But like when you go on online dating, when you or any form of that. You know, you got to keep a current photo, or all of them really. But even if like your photo, like I have a few photos that are like, 6 years old, but I look like identical. Like my body hasn't really changed. I visibly look the same. I got the same haircut. Like maybe I got a wrinkle or two I don't know about. But like, that you're getting that really, you are getting the full picture. And to not do that is just, it's not good, right? Because there could be a vast difference we don't know. She asked if I had what I'd done that day, and I told her I'd been at the gym, and she didn't understand how people exercised, and that she thought gardening would keep her fit. And he puts in parentheses, it wasn't working so far. So she's probably a little bit bigger. Yeah, gardening probably is not gonna have the same effect. Let's just be honest there. She also brought up kids about 3 times and how she wanted them in the next few years. I stopped drinking so I could leave earlier as I was very uncomfortable. That's the thing you gotta do, man. Like, too, like, you gotta make sure, like, that's why, like, I meet people in a public location. It's really easy to get out of there. Like, if I'm just not having a good date, I can just be like, hey, man, I'm not really having that great of a time. I'm gonna go. And sometimes that's the way you gotta, that's the way you gotta do it, right? And it's I don't think it's, like, disrespectful at all. Like, if you're just not having a good time, you can really just try to sum it up and get the heck out of there. Okay, and I think this other one I wanted to read, too. Round Spartan, 2 years ago. So, okay, so at the last end of the year, I got out of a long-term relationship, and after a few months, decided to see what was out there. But he didn't want anything serious, only strings attached. So I matched with a girl at the start of the year. We started talking and agreed to go on a date when COVID regulations were relaxed. The date comes, and I go to hers for drinks and a movie. See, like, again, I don't recommend it. Drinks and a movie, though. We got on like a house on fire. There was a spark, and almost immediately we have a few more similar dates and start sleeping with each other. I was really falling for this girl. Anyway, a few things happen in her life, and she asks if we can put our next date on hold until it's all sorted out and she's feeling better mentally. Not a problem. She let me know what was going on, and it was a reasonable request. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. A few weeks later, we are talking as normal, and we arrange another date. She has a she has a family event to attend she has a family event to attend the night, and I suggested to go for the day after. On the day, she isn't texting me as often, which is no big deal. And on my way home from work, she asks if she can call me before our date. So she calls me to tell me her ex is a family friend, and they slept with each other the night before. She said all she remembers is waking up in bed with him in the morning. She apologized, and I could tell she meant it. I was gutted, but suggested we meet up and just talk about what would happen, and she agreed. I texted her 3 times after that to arrange this talk, and got vague replies or just no reply at all. I was distraught after my relationship ended last year, and this girl made me think everything was going to be okay. I still feel sick every time I see someone on social media or I think about her. Yeah, that's kind of heavy, man. You know, and it's the way it goes. But at least you gotta to some degree, you got to give it to the girl that she was pretty open and honest. At least she was pretty blunt about it and was like, "Yo, by the way, I did this." I don't know if they were really exclusive. It doesn't really sound like they kind of were, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, I don't do that. What's going on, PAS? Thanks for coming into the stream, man. It's not easy for me. I can never shut the date down. It can draw hours and hours with a heavy talker. Absolutely, but you do gotta get there are ways to get out of dates a little early. Not early to the point that it's very noticeably early, but you don't have to linger as the thing, right? When a date would when you're naturally finished dinner, you don't have to get a dessert or offer to go somewhere else. You can just be yeah, listen, I'm gonna get going, and just get out of there, right? Sometimes that is the way to go to move forward. Oh, this one says overall 0 to 10. This has got to be a good one. Comes from Super C Complex. I matched with this girl during summer break. We didn't get a chance to meet up before I went back to law school about 2 hours away, but we hit it off, chatted for 2 weeks, exchanged a few fun snaps. Ooh. She said she was going to be in my area visiting her cousin, who went to the school where I did, only in undergrad, and that we should meet up. I agree. She comes up and invites me out with her cousin as well on Friday when we had planned Saturday, but I didn't have anything to do. Certainly not studying. I go out. Okay, no problems here. She looks like her pictures just off. The pictures were filtered. But whatever, we hit it off. She worked with special needs kids and seemed like we would click. Her cousin was also there, which was odd. Okay, yeah, that is a little odd. I don't particularly like doing that. If I were to go on a date with somebody else, I did that one time where they were like, "Hey, my family's gonna be here." That's the microwave taco girl. I just couldn't get over it. I was like, what was I thinking? You know. She was just awful. She worked with special needs kids, who she called tards, and she was just loud. Everything out of her mouth just turned me off. I got what's a yearning? I don't even know. That's not yearning. What's he even spelling there? Youngling? But anyway, I got an urge to pee. Since I had an Uber there and it took longer than I planned, I get back and she's gone along with her cousin. The waitress says they kicked her out for being too drunk, so I finish my beer, pay for it, and head home. He doesn't even try to find her. That's the funniest thing. He doesn't even attempt to find the woman. She texts saying she's sorry. It's been about 3 hours. I can see her Snapchat story. She was at a frat. She said she wasn't feeling it and doesn't want to meet up. Whoa! Having been drinking. Tell her I understand, but could I have her cousin's number? That's bold. She then insults me for about 10 texts. The only thing I remember is that my shirt was tucked in like it's a bad thing, even though that it isn't, which it's not. Overall, 0 to 10. The close second would be a girl with the dead eyes. Oof. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never had a date been kicked out on me before. I would just assume you'd probably text her and try to figure out what's going on, but ouch. Okay, let's read this one here. I've been divorced for a few years, struggled with religion aspect, and finally decided that I want to start dating men. I was older but very naive. Saw some article that mentioned Adam, so I went there and made a profile in retrospect that was really bad. Who's Adam? I got almost no response. Then a guy messaged me wanting to meet, and his else showed promise, as he sounded like he had a good profile. Okay, cool. I did at least meet in a public place. He was not exactly like the profile. He was about 5'2", fairly thin, but was a smoker. We chatted a little anyway and went back to my place. Eesh, I never liked that, man. Before long, all clothes were off, and he had a really nice cook, so I gave him oral. He did touch me, but stopped me, not wanting to finish. I was too inexperienced to know that meant he wanted to bang me. I had told him that I had no experience and just wanted to do oral. Suddenly, he took a dry finger and stuck it up her poop. That's really sexual. He said, "Wow, you really are a virgin. Let's go to your bedroom." I said, "No chance. You were done. Get dressed." Literally pushed him out the door. But I had my first oral experience, and I knew that was my future. That's... I don't know what to make of that right there. I'm just gonna scroll right along like we didn't read that. Like, is this literally this, or is that a guy? I think that was a girl, but yeah, it must have been a girl. But that ending was fucked. Okay, it's jacked. Okay, message by a girl in Plenty of Fish. Let's call her Ashley. This 10 years ago, by the way. This is when Plenty of Fish was a lot more prominent. One of the conversations that immediately took off, we were talking for at least 4 hours straight. We decided to go get dinner. She was even better in person, beautiful, witty, laughed at my stupid jokes, and the whole bit. We exchanged goodbyes, and that was the end of our evening. We're texting until about midnight when she says, "You're gonna hate me, we should just be friends." So I'm like, alright, whatever. She calls me the next day to apologize, so I give her a second chance. Okay. So I'm like, yep, whatever. It's good. At the end of this date, so they do have a follow-up date, we start making out like we're in the middle of school, and she stops us before we get too far and says she's not ready for that yet. Okay, cool. No problem. He respects it. So I go home, and she texts me saying that I was just going to use her had we had sex and calling me a pig. Okay. Next day, I get a text from Ashley's phone asking if I knew where she was, and I was the last person to talk to her. Her friend went to her house where Ashley had apparently left her phone and her car, and the front door was wide open. I told this mysterious person to call the cops. When she refused, I said that I would, and lo and behold, Ashley showed up. I had just gone for a walk. Didn't know you cared about me so much, lol. Yeah, okay, I'm done with this situation. So that right there, before we even continue, that right there sounds like she totally baited, like that was her. And she totally baited him into, seeing what he would do. Like, I don't know if that would fall under, like, manipulative, but, like, that is absolutely sketchy and a really big red flag. I can't even say, man. That's fucked. That's jacked. Next day I go to work. I usually leave my phone in my truck until lunch. So when I go out for lunch at noon, I had 115 new texts and 48 missed calls. That's it. I'm done. So I blocked the number, and that's that. Wrong again. She knew where I worked and the rough time I got off work, which is almost an hour and a half from where she lived. She tried following me home. I took a roundabout way of getting home and ran a few red lights, but managed to lose her. And it's almost been a year, and I haven't heard from her since. This is, like, the number one reason why, like, I often say this stuff. But, like, I don't know if people think I'm joking, but I genuinely mean it. Like, do not give out your information, like on a first date. Like, when I go speed dating, there's a reason that you only get, like, a phone. You just get, like, a name and a number. Like, just a first name. You don't get last names or anything, because anything like this is gonna happen. Like, that's absolutely scary, really scary. Let's see what we got here. I think I've read some of these. I've been on this Reddit post before, so we're going to switch back to this one. Oh, that's the wrong thing. There we go. Okay, so I was first going through Tinder. I mentioned this guy who seemed okay and decided to go on a date with him. He lived 30 minutes away from me and picked me up at my house. I figured we were eating because he suggested we get lunch somewhere in town so we didn't have to drive back 30 minutes. So I didn't eat before this. So there's a couple mishaps right there, and we're going to obviously break them right down. So first of all, the idea that you're just not going to eat lunch before you go, like, you didn't really say, hey, by the way, like, this is what we're doing. So, like, that's the first problem. The second problem is you just never get picked up on a first date. Like, the offer's there, but you don't take it, right? That's what you should be doing. He picks me up to drive to his apartment 30 minutes away, and he asks if I want to go in for a bit before we go eat. I say, let's just go head to the restaurant now, so we leave, and he drives back to where I live and drives further past it. So I don't know why he went to his apartment. I don't know what game he was playing there, but I would not have done that. But I guess he probably also didn't mention that he was going to his apartment with her. Weird. Anyway, so this is totally like, give me your organs. Is what's going on. Interesting. Okay, so they drive further past her place. I was like, where are we going? And he says he wants to drive around a bit before going because he isn't hungry. So drive about 30 minutes past my house, and he pulls over and tries to initiate a kiss. He pulls me into him, and I just kind of hug him. It was this awkward 5-minute embrace of him trying to kiss me, and me just turning my head and burying my face into his shoulders. And he was also apparently super stinky. Not good, by the way. You want to have some hygiene on a date. So I suggest we turn around and go to the restaurant. Props to her for even suggesting that. So we drive back to where I live, and he passes it again. So that's another hour back to his house, and he says, let's go inside. I'm not hungry yet. Oh, he went back to his place the second time. So we go sit inside, and he gets out his guitar, and he starts playing music for me, which was terribly painful to listen to. I was hungry and hot and uncomfortable. Anyways, about 30 minutes listening to play crappy music and moving to opposite couches as him every time he sat by me and visiting his awkward roommate. Oh, and the roommate's there. I finally make up a lie, but we need to go back home. We got in his car, and he took me back to my place. But he had to drive around a bit to try to kiss me again before actually take me home. I blocked him after that. That is, like, one of the most, like... I wouldn't even say that's one of the worst dates I've ever read. That's one of the most awkward that I've ever read. I gotta grab my remote here. There's something... Oh, okay. Watch the movie later, but I don't know if you can do audio tracks. Oh, it's got an audio tab. Hell yeah. Yeah, I got a Blu-ray player. I didn't know if you could do that, but it's got an audio button right there. Or tab. I said tab. That's funny. No, I mean, like, it's crazy to me, like, that people do that stuff. Like, that you would meet someone without even, like, actually knowing them, you know, like, and get in their car and everything. Like, you have, like, no way out of there. Like, you know, like, well, I guess you do, but... You know, the guy can just, like, he could just take you anywhere, right? Like, dude, a girl could just, like, take me anywhere, pull me over, and kill me. I'm just saying. That one's got some sex toys in it. We're not going to read that one there. Man, there's not that many in this post. What the fudge? It's on Ask Women. I mean, I have no problem with Ask Women. Let's, give me a minute here. We're going to see if we get some fresh ones here. I've read the other ones in the other tab there. I've actually read those ones, unfortunately. Let me see here. Worst... I'm going to say Plenty of Fish in particular. It's always where you find the bad ones. Oh, this one's not even Reddit. Nah, man, that's not even Reddit. Okay, here we go. Ireland. We got an Ireland subreddit. Alright, 1 second here. We're just going to see what... I like something that just has a little... I don't know, a little fluff to it. There's going to be something. All right, well, read some of these. These don't look too bad. The Irish, let's see what they're doing. I met a French girl at a bar. I walked as I don't have a car, and I ordered a Guinness. She got a Rabina because she drove. That must be a Rabina? It must be a light beer. To start with, she was way out of my league, and I had come straight from work, so I was a bit of a mess. Anyways, my card bounced when I went to pay, so she had to fork out the €7 for my pint. Bars in France charged an arm and a leg for some Guinness, even though her drink was basically free. We walked outside and it was lashing rain, and the trams were done, so she had to awkwardly drive me back to my flat. Almost 2 years later, and we're still going strong. Okay, we don't want to read that. I don't like them when they're great. I look up bad stories. It's just to be bad. Oh, this one's got a lot. Okay, this one's from a deleted account. It wasn't technically a Tinder date, as we had already matched a while back and decided not to go forward with the date. There was just no chemistry between us at all. So we just left it at that, a failed Tinder matching. However, I ended up bumping into her about 2 months later at a friend's party. We were both new to the area, and we were circulating in the same social circles, trying to network and make new friends. Not wanting to avoid her for the entire party, awkwardly hiding out in a dark corner, I decided to say hello and get a conversation going with her. As it turns out, she was far more friendly and open to chit-chat in person. Although we were both slightly tipsy, and let's face it, alcohol is, hey, it's good for that. Anyway, fast forward 3 hours, and everyone has drunk their fill, and the party's starting to wind down. And I'm sitting next to a friend I had made on the living room couch. Made out with? Is that what that's supposed to be? Chatting about everything and anything, when out of nowhere, she throws herself down on the sofa between the other fella and me. She was wearing a very tight, short skirt, and she threw herself down. It rode up a bit, way up, completely exposing her inner thighs, and well, you get the idea. Both myself and the other poor chap quickly look away and pretend we've seen nothing, giving her time to readjust herself. But she was very comfortable with the way she was positioned. She cuts right back into the conversation, not wanting to come across as prude, and I look back and engage in small talk, all while pretending not to notice her lips poking out from under the skirt. Ouch. Unfortunately, it was a bit much for my new friend, and he effed off quicker than I thought was possible for man in his state. A bit of foreshadowing here, but I should have fecked off with him. Anyway, eventually, I built up the courage to sheepishly point out that she's been exposing herself to the world for the past 5 minutes, which she looks down, shimmies the skirt back up, down over her thighs, and then looks back up with a smirk. Thanks for the tip. I just laughed at it and continued with our prior conversation, but pretty soon she brings it up again, asking me if I enjoyed the view. Oh, okay, this is weird. Yeah, that's weird. I can't remember what I said exactly, but I was caught up entirely off guard by the forward nature of the question. The girl was undoubtedly beautiful, and she had proved me wrong earlier in the night, showing off more fun in her quirky side. But this was all a bit much. So I tried to edge around the question and answer in a manner that showed both respect and interest, but also showed that I wanted to slow down, all the while she edged closer and closer to me, running her hands up and down my leg. Uh-oh. Luckily, the mutual friend of ours who had thrown the party came by wanting to know who was sleeping over and who needed a cab. I took this as my opportunity to bug out politely and respectfully, and as such, I gave her my number and told me to call me tomorrow for coffee if she wasn't too hungover. She seemed a little disappointed, but was happy to have my number, so I went to leave, but luck, as it seems, was not on my side. It never is. It's never just, I'm going to leave. The cab never came, and as the night dragged on later and later, I just decided I'll just sleep on the couch. By this time, everyone else had gone to bed, so I just grabbed the blanket from an armchair. The story should have ended here, but sure enough, with me waking up the following day he wanted to wake up groggy the following day, but that obviously didn't happen. I was attracted to her, but I didn't want to make a move that quickly, and especially not while we're both hammered. Anyway, getting back to it, I woke up about an hour later to her sitting on the edge of the couch, gently shaking me by the shoulder. I lean up for only her to start rubbing her hand over my, pelvic area. And I know you wanted to see me earlier. Don't worry. Let's have some fun. I tried to explain to her, while I do fancy that it had crossed my mind, I wasn't comfortable with how it was going down, and he just wanted to be sober, I guess, and meet her. So she took the news pretty poorly. What followed was a flood of tears, followed by some confused rationalizing, and then me explaining my position again, all while she attempted to slide her hand down my pants yet again. In the end, I just grabbed my coat, popped on my shoes, and walked home in the snow, which was about an hour away. When I got home, I was borderline hypothermic, pissed off, and utterly exhausted. I fell asleep while sitting in my shower basin. Wow. Anyway, she ended up calling 35 times and sent 17 text messages along with it. That's pretty wild. I've never, drunk parties are like always the interesting one for me. I don't really know like how people kind of deal with those, to be honest. And I don't know. That's weird. I don't know how to deal with that situation. Like yes, in a way I know how to deal with it, but like, do I want to deal with it is another thing. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really feeling it, the stream. Not like, I hate to do that to the people watching, but I'm just kind of like not really in the mood right now. Like I got like 15 minutes in and I was like, man, I kind of want this to be over so I can go do something else. I just want to relax. I got a movie I want to watch, and I just kind of want to take it easy. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read like another one or two, and then I'm actually just going to call it a little early. It's going to be only like 35-minute stream. I know that's quick, but I mean, other times I just do 45 to an hour, so I don't think it's actually too bad. Let's just do a couple quick ones here. So I met a girl for a date. She was fairly quiet but pleasant, good looking, and that was good. Kind of knew it probably wasn't going to go anywhere, but I figured I'd give it a chance and maybe things would develop. Couple of more dates, then my dad dies, so that takes up a lot of my headspace, and breaking up with someone feels a bit more than I can handle at this moment. Over the next couple months, she drops a couple comments that makes me think maybe I should have bitten the bullet earlier. If you want, we can name our first child after your dad. If we ever get divorced, I'll take everything you're worth. Like I said, headspace is a little all over the place, so I didn't really clock these comments. Those are really big comments, by the way. If any woman ever said that to me, I'd be extremely concerned. We decided to have a trip to New York City. In the queue for immigration in Dublin, and the penny drops, and I'm like, oh shoot, I've spent 4 days with her in New York. She complains about having to walk the whole time, so I spend the last 2 days shit-faced just to get through it. We get back to Dublin. She heads to her hometown down the country for a week. Gets back a week later, and I break it off. She goes full bore psycho. First of all, punches me in the face while I'm driving her to her flat. Spends the next 18 months harassing me, my friends, texting, ringing, accusing my best mate's girlfriend for me of breaking up with her, yada, yada, yada. Texting 20 to 30 times a day without me replying. It's a lot, man. It's, you don't know the craziness of people, right? And, like, that's just absolutely wild to me. We got another one here. Didn't actually make it to the date, although we had it arranged. I knew her when I swiped right for her. I knew her when I swiped right for her. Okay, that is right. But I hadn't seen her in about 15 years. She was one of my best mates in school, older sister, and I'd always fancied her. Anyway, got on great for the first few days of chatting. We arranged a date at a nice restaurant. But then the red flags had actually started. It started becoming more obvious that she wasn't where she wanted to be in life with regard to being married / having children. Okay, and although she didn't explicitly say it, it was made very obvious, which is fine, I suppose. Most people want to end up there, but I think that's a chat for a few months down the road. The final straw came when a conversation came up about eating toast or crisps, and that's chips, by the way, like I forget how it goes. It's, I think crisps are actually chips, but I forget how that goes, because it's chips or fries, and crisps are chips. Like, if you're thinking like Canada. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so eating crisps or something in bed, to which she said she wouldn't kick me out. Asked what would happen if I farted. Oh, apparently in bed. Then she got really weird. She said she doesn't fart, and she doesn't want anyone to fart around her. I played off his humor first, which I'm a lady, I don't fart. But the rest of the conversation confirmed that she was dead serious, and that I was with her and wanted to fart. I'd have to go outside the house. She genuinely seemed to believe that farting was a choice. It's not. There were a few other things as well. I wasn't flirting with her as much as she thought she was, apparently, or she thought she was, apparently. I had to cancel the date. Shame, really, because she was gorgeous. I would have met her, but like those are a lot of things to unpack before you've ever met someone. Yeah, that's just a little bit too much. Yeah, that's a little too much, mate. I don't know, man. Like, a lot of these times, like, I'll read these stories, and it's really just, like, interesting to me that people just, like, they don't really, like, look at, like, the super obvious signs. And I understand, like, that not obviously everybody will know super obvious signs. But there has to be, like, to a degree, you have to know, like, okay, like, maybe I shouldn't go meet this person at their home. You know, something like that, right? And that's what I don't understand, is people doing that. I don't really get that, to be quite honest. Oh, let me just meet you at your home and let's go have a drink, and that'll be a great idea. And then they realize, like, they're like, okay, cool, things are going really, really, or not cool, but things are going really crappy. Is naturally these online dating, these dates sometimes do. And then they're like, uh-oh, now he knows where I live, or she picked me up, and I can't, what am I supposed to do to get out of the car? Like, do I just leave awkwardly? And this is the problem, right? Like, they're just like, that's why I really like when dating apps will have this very basic information, but they'll have, like, safety to online dating. And to me, like, I'll look at that and think that that's really basic, which it is to a degree, and, like, to me, it's very understandable and very obvious. But, like, to other people, they're going to look at that and they're going to be like, absolutely, that makes a lot of sense to me because I've never done this before, and, like, I really need this help, or I really need the advice. I'm trying to stream a show here in a minute here, and it's, I don't know what's going on with it, man. It's having, like, an absolute hernia to try to load the webpage. Like, it just, like, it was working, and then it's just completely, like, crap the bed. Hold on here. Oh, we're live. All right. Well, anyway, yeah, we're going to figure that out. Yeah, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, man. I'm not 100% in the mood to do a super long stream. So I think just 35-minute. It's a quick one, and we'll do our regular. I will make an update though. I do have the adult friend finder video hopefully coming out probably this weekend or Monday. So that's the dating app that you guys have voted for and recommended that I do. So that'll be out in a few days. I've got my notes pretty much done on it, so I just gotta actually like sit down in front of the camera here and do it. So yeah, that'll probably, I'm a little booked up tomorrow, but the weekend is looking pretty juicy for time to get that done. So pretty much guaranteed, I'd say this weekend or Monday you're gonna see the adult friend finder video. So I do apologize, a little quicker stream, but I just, like I said, sometimes I just start talking on the camera and then I'm like, man, I kind of want to just chill and not have to talk for 2 hours. So yeah, you know how it is. But we'll do another one. So, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We're going to see you in the next one. If you guys want me to talk about something on a live stream, by the way, just shoot me an email, let me know. I usually just do the dating fails because I think they're like kind of convenient and easy to find. But if you guys have other ideas, I'm happy to hear them. So, all right, take it easy, everybody. Thanks for watching. We're going to see you in the next one. Oh, we got the Inception going on there.